If you're talking about misalignment to the point of like for your children's safety, that has nothing to do with even like my relationship with this person or their health. It's like, no, I have a primary duty to protect my children, and I think that exposure to you could cause them harm. Someone might not like to hear that, but if it's true, I'm sorry. That's more important than the relationship. This is my primary duty in life, is to protect and raise my children.
Yeah, that idea of primary and secondary relationships are very important.
Yeah, and you should never spend a higher value to obtain a lower value. One of the more profound books that I read, one of the more impactful, was Mein Kampf. And this was a very important book for me to read because as a Jew, you're taught how important this book was in determining what happened in Germany in World War II. Right? For anyone who's listening, Mein Kampf is Hitler's autobiography, written while he was in prison after the initial failed coup, and laid the groundwork for the second attempt, which succeeded in the rise of Third Reich. I got very, very fascinated by this period of history, read an enormous amount about World War II and the early 20th century. And as I'm reading Mein Kampf, just in a general historical study, right, and trying to figure out how things went down, I became fascinated with the underlying, like, every page was like what I was hearing at Penn. I was just like, what is going on here? Like, this is Hitler.
Right.
Why is he sounding like my professors?
Aren't they on different sides?
I was like, and I started to think about the words. I was like, National Socialism. That's like socialists who have pride in their nation and sacrifice for the nation. I'm like, how is this different than what I was?
Yes, comrade.
I was like, what is going on here? So I like really started to dig, and I realized that a lot of the ideology that was being promoted in the United States was echoing the ideology that Hitler was promoting. I was like, okay, so where's the difference?
This is in your 20s, like you're having this discussion, like whatever, 20 years ago, or
from 22 to 25,
Yeah.
roughly speaking. After college is when my education began.
Okay.
When I just started reading whatever I wanted to read and
Right.
thinking about what I wanted to think about for
Yeah.
the first time in my life.
and to your point, imagine if you'd done that when you were 5.
Wasted time. What I could have been.
Or what you will be in 20 years then.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, do these battle scars make me better or worse? Well, the world will never know
We'll never
because
know.
there's no alternate reality.
There you go.
I am as damaged as I am because of this. Maybe it's good. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm like, where's the difference? Like, at what point does Hitler diverge from Penn?
Right.
You know, and I couldn't find the difference.
Please tell me somewhere. You're
like,
turning the pages.
I was like, maybe it was economic conditions.
Sure.
Right? Definitely played into the events that went down. Maybe it's technology, right? Maybe there's new technology now that allows this ideology to exist without the rise of communism. And the difference between, communism, socialism, and fascism is like just look at it from a slightly different angle.
Yeah, it's all the same.
It's all collective.
Everyone thinks it's linear, but it's just a U, where
it's all
the
just
extreme sides
collectivism.
are very
Right.
close.
It's the group is what matters.
Yeah.
You are subservient to the group, and in fact, you should do everything you can to die for the group.
Yeah.
Right? And we're the group, by the way.
Yeah. And we know what's best. And
You just listen to us. We represent the group. I promise. They voted for me.
Right. Yeah. I know best.
Yeah. So I pursued a couple different tracks. I was reading some historical fiction, namely in the form of like Gone with the Wind, and getting into the Civil War and learning more about war and wartime economics, and reading Mein Kampf, and I'm reading books about, the early Zionists. And I just became fascinated with this like period of history in connection with Judaism and in connection with Israel and my own. I was like, I gotta go see what's going on. So I got a one-way ticket to Israel. This was during the Arab Spring. You remember that?
No.
When like the Egyptians ousted Mubarak, basically when Arab countries were protesting against their leaders to the point where the leaders were being ousted.
Okay.
Right. It was called the Arab Spring.
Proper democracy.
And it's when like Egypt and Libya were liberated, and like these historical dictators and authoritarian regimes, these aristocracies or autocracies, were overthrown by the will of the people. Now, if you listen to the Egyptian one was the most prominent. Mubarak being ousted in Egypt was one that got the most airplay on American media. And I remember this girl, one of the leaders of the students that was doing the protesting that led to Mubarak, because the U.S. put enormous pressure on it. Like these students and the population as a whole were like massive protests, like at the presidential palace, being like, you must get out of power. Yeah, in Egypt.
Wow.
And Mubarak, who was the head of the Egyptian government at the time, resigned. And it was this like moment where the people were like, we
have power.
Now, what's interesting is I remember listening to a talk at the time by Gigi Ibrahim, this girl. And she was like, oh yeah, I was at the university and I took a class and the title of the class was How to Overthrow Authoritarian Regimes with Social Media.
Wow.
It's like, that's a class?
That's a crazy thing for a class. It's very on the nose.
But it's like how they did it. I'm like, this was orchestrated. It's like, that's not a class that Mubarak agrees with.
Right.
This is a CIA operation. This is like
from the States.
100%
right.
The United States implementing regime change through social media and protest, and then being like, you got to give the people what they want, Mubarak. You got to resign or we'll bomb you. And he did, and it worked. And it was all the US/Israel.
Right.
And anyway, so this spread to the other Arab nations. Right. They all started having their...
And I was like, hey, did you know you could do this? Did you know?
And it was working. Like multiple of these countries had.
And at this time, did you recognize it was America and Israel?
No.
Okay.
No.
So what are you thinking at this time? You're just like, oh, this is
What happened was I'm out there and the Israelis were feeling the same way.
Right. The guys on base hated it.
These are people, man. These are just people who are discontent with their lot. Life's unaffordable, stuck in the army. You know what I mean? Like, and they were like,
uninspired.
Well, we could do this too, right? So here's how it started. A Hasidic Jew goes into a supermarket. This is not the beginning of a bad joke. Maybe it is.
Sounds like it.
Maybe it is. A Hasidic Jew goes into a supermarket in Israel and wants to buy cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is more of a staple of the Israeli diet than hummus.
Wow.
It's the staple.
That's good protein.
It's the most omnipresent food in the diet is cottage cheese.
Okay.
Most people don't know that.
Yeah.
So goes into the supermarket and decides this cottage cheese is way too expensive. I'm not buying it. I protest. It's protesting the
cottage
cornerstone of the diet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat this.
Right.
It's like a huge statement. It's being like, I'm not going to drink my milk today.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to drink my water. And so a bunch of others were just like, yeah, you're right. It's the cornerstone of our food, and it's 3 times the price that it was. Unacceptable. There's one dairy company in Israel. Total monopoly, state-sponsored.
Of course.
Not kidding. It's a state-sponsored, explicit monopoly.
It's like how dairy is in Canada.
Company. But most of Israel operates that way. Again, it is a...
state-run.
It's a state-run government. Or state-run nation. And so everyone starts protesting cottage cheese. Like it spread like wildfire on social media. Everyone's just like, we're not buying cottage cheese.
This is in like 2012.
It's 2011.
2011.
Right in line with, right following on the heels of the Arab Spring, kind of at the tail end of what was known as the Arab Spring.
Yeah.
And actually, I think I was out there in the summer, and literally the spring is when the Arab Spring.
Oh, okay.
I think that's why it was called Arab Spring. I don't remember if it actually corresponded with like the Northern Hemisphere springtime. I think it may have. So everyone goes on strike against cottage cheese. And the Israeli government comes out and makes a statement, public statement, targeted at both the population and the dairy company. And they said, these people are right. Lower the price, or we're going to open the border for imports.
Just showing their hand.
We're going to subject you to competition.
Wow.
If you don't lower the price. Now, out the other hand, they're probably subsidizing.
For sure.
Right? But people don't need to know about the money printer.
Yeah.
So it's a show.
Yeah.
Right?
Theater. It's the Wizard of Oz.
Right. But the price dropped overnight.
Imagine
how that was funded and how it happened, people didn't care. They saw the price go down.
They were happy.
Inflation doesn't hit for another year or two.
Yeah.
Right? So the price goes down, and they all looked at each other and went, I was out there while this was happening, real time. They were all just like, oh my God. We can just demand things.
We have power.
We can just get together and protest things and go on strike and force Netanyahu's hand. They were like, so they went for the throat. Housing. That was the thing that was unaffordable, not cottage cheese.
Right.
That's on the margin. The reason you thought cottage cheese was expensive is because all your money was spent on rent.
Yeah.
So they were just like, let's do it. Let's get the cost of rent down. So everyone moved out of their apartments and homes.
To be homeless?
Tens of thousands of people. Yeah.
Wow. Just self-evict.
They moved out and they got tents. And they
Wow.
got tent cities. This never hit American media.
Yeah. I've never heard of this.
Shocking. I was out there calling my mom.
Are you seeing this?
Do you see what's happening in Israel right now? So what are you talking about?
Like, everyone's living in tents.
Like everyone just moved into the tents. It was like they're all demanding that Netanyahu both lower the price of rent and step down. It's like
Wow. They wanted Bibi to step down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there were the protests that went through Tel Aviv, and so the tent cities were everywhere. Tel Aviv was literally just tents. Every major street was shut down. Just tents everywhere.
Wow.
Everyone moved into tents. So I got a tent. I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. So I went and got a tent and I moved into the streets of Tel Aviv, and, you know, I showered on the beach and bathroomed at McDonald's, and
Like any good traveling person would.
yeah, sleeping in a tent. And the nights were really interesting because people were working during the day. But the night times in the tent cities was very it was really impressive. It was like circles of people discussing politics intensely.
And like, are they planning to overthrow? Or
They're talking about the next protest. They're talking about strategy after they've replaced Netanyahu. There's like intense, real conversations.
Who's the next leader going to be? We have all this power now. We're gonna put the next guy in charge.
And there's other groups that are playing drum circles, and good food and fires. I mean, I was like, this is awesome. Yeah. I was like, this is what revolution looks like. I was like, oh, I'm living in a tent city of a protesting country, witnessing it firsthand, and of a country of interest, by the way, something that I was interested in. Like when I was out there, I had decided through very both kind of physically perceptive, but also spiritual awareness that Jerusalem was like the center. You can feel it, you know, like being on the Temple Mount, the Dome of the Rock mosque on top of the ruined temple, with the Israeli soldiers patrolling while Muslim groups shout about
crazy.
It just was like hot,
like
intense. You know what I mean? Like you
feel the spiritual warfare happening,
and spiritual war and jihad. It just was like, whoa, guys, this is like the center of global politics. You could feel it. Anyway, so these tent cities proliferate everywhere. Jerusalem has a tent city. Tel Aviv has a tent city. Haifa has a tent city. And I'm traveling around visiting tent cities. Mostly I was in Tel Aviv at this time because that's where it was happening. That was the main one. That was the capital. It's now Jerusalem, but I was in Tel Aviv. And the nighttime protests were pretty intense. I mean, they had giant, like, floats, balloons of, like, Netanyahu riding a pig and, you know, like, just...
Savage.
Yeah.
And why didn't... I guess because they weren't that authoritative. Like, why aren't they just coming down with missiles and guns? And like, you want to shut someone up pretty quick, just point a gun in their face.
You don't do that if you want the people's support.
Okay, so he's still. So
the
there's enough.
It's not iron fist authoritarianism.
Right.
It's compliance. It's survival. I mean, like
compliance.
It's hard to know whose motivations and intentions are what.
Right.
But you can tell by actions, right?
Yeah.
The action here wasn't to like come down on Netanyahu, who came out and he was just like, this is a very legitimate expression of discontent. It's like, I hear you guys. It's like, this, it sucks. I helped with the cottage cheese thing. It's like, this is a bigger ask. I can't just lower the price of housing everywhere. It's like, I don't have that kind of power. You're giving me too much credit now. And so, you know, get out, you know? And I'm like, oh boy, where does this get to, you know? Like how bad is it going to get? And these were relatively peaceful protests. People weren't fighting. Nobody was, you know, it's a disarmed population. Nobody has guns.
Right.
The army has guns. And when you're on base, you have guns, but it's not like people are packing like they are in the US. So there's no real threat of like mass violence or anything like that. It was relatively peaceful protests. Again, a broad-based expression of discontent and anger and a desire for a better, more robust economy. And so I don't know how this is going to play out. And I was like, I got to get out of this tent. Been a couple weeks. I needed like a real shower and like a real kind of like schedule again. And there was no sign of this protest ending. So I was like, I can come back. So I called up Pam. She goes, get down to Uvda. It's the Air Force base in the south, way at the tip of Egypt and Saudi Arabia and Jordan and Israel, right when they meet at the bottom tip of Israel, right all the way down there. And so I'm on my way down there, and I'm on a bus, and our bus driver L's it into the desert, off the road, literally off roads, fast.
Like he's escaping something.
Yeah.
Or going towards somewhere fast.
Just cuts into the desert.
No warning.
Yep.
Okay.
And we're like, what the fuck is going on? The bus in front of us was bombed. There's terrorists on the side of the road. The bus in front of us just blew up.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So we cut into the desert, and we cut across the southern desert to get to the Jordanian border.
Into Jordan.
Because the eastern border is Gaza and Egypt, which is where they came over.
The terrorists.
So we cut across
to go back to Jordan.
Jordanian border, which is where it's more protected and safe, right? Nobody comes in from Jordan.
And so is the bus driver got a radio, got a phone call?
I don't know how he was notified. It wasn't in sight. So I assume it was a phone call.
And did he tell you guys? Is he like, hey,
yeah,
like we're under attack?
There's been an attack. I'm getting us off the road and over to the Jordanian border. Very tense ride, as you can imagine.
Yeah. Bumpy desert plus war.
Yeah. So we get over there. And this was like intense for me. You know, I had already been at a heightened, kind of compromised mental state, trying to go through everything I was going through and re-identify and figure out the world. And now there's this, and all of a sudden I felt that like gritty sense of fear, of like imminent danger. And I hadn't had a lot of that in my life. You know, like I'd been in a few fights where I had that heightened sense of like survival mode. But again, I was already fragile. And so this was very, very impactful. It really hurt. It was traumatic.